Small things are better than nothing. Have you seen women walking around with these weighted vests? Listen, if you're somebody who hasn't been doing anything, you've been on the couch and you want to strap a weighted vest on, will you see any changes, like positive changes? Yeah. But if you're somebody who's already been active and you're thinking this weighted vest is going to be the thing that changes everything for me, I hate to tell you this, but that's not how it works. Get in, losers. We're going lifting. To the women who have been doing all of the research into menopause and perimenopause, I know you know this information at this point in time. You need to be building muscle. And a great way to build muscle at this phase of life is with the kettlebell. I read Mary Claire Haver's book. I've had conversations with women who have gone through this season of life, who have lifted throughout. And I've had conversations with women who haven't. And it's very clear two things to me. Number one, hormones are changing. And for some women, HRT is going to be a saving grace. Two, HRT is not going to just be this one thing that magically fixes everything if you do not already have the habits in place to make it through this season of life as easily as you possibly can. It's the habits that come with trying to build a strong body that has muscle on it, a healthy body that can lift relatively heavy weights. It's a combination of nutrition, of lifting, of being in a good place in regards to your mental health, being able to manage your sleep, manage your stress. And I know you're probably thinking, it's all easier said than done. And yeah, you're right. It is easier said than done. When you think of a woman who's going through this season of life, not all of them, but for a lot of them, especially the ones who are mothers, think about the age of kids. Think about the changes of what's going on in families' life. Mom is like the center to the family. And if mom is trying to be everything for everyone and hasn't been taking the time to prioritize her nutrition, her training, her stress management, then this season is going to be really flipping hard. So if you're going through it right now, or if you're trying to get ahead of it, having some foundational pieces in place are going to be huge. And part of that is going to be lifting. And it could be with something like the kettlebell. I love the kettlebell for people who are new to the strength training world because you don't have to get into the car to go to the gym. You can literally just pull out a couple of kettlebells at home and hit some moves where you're starting to build muscle. And that's the big thing that we want for these women. We want them to have muscle on their body. Something that's very common that happens during this time is all of these hormonal shifts. And we do see an increase in fat gain. But if you have more muscle on your body, that's how you combat that. And in order to build muscle, there is a recipe for that. It's not a matter of just lift the weight, do whatever, go to Orange Theory, take the HIIT class, take out the 20-pound dumbbells. It's more nuanced than that, the game of building muscle. And sure, if you are somebody who hasn't been lifting, if you are somebody who really hasn't been moving, small things can make a difference. Small things are better than nothing. Have you seen women walking around with these weighted vests? Listen, if you're somebody who hasn't been doing anything, you've been on the couch and you want to strap a weighted vest on, will you see any changes, like positive changes? Yeah. But if you're somebody who's already been active and you're thinking this weighted vest is going to be the thing that changes everything for me, I hate to tell you this, but that's not how it works. If you're somebody who has already been active, but maybe you haven't been active in a way where the specific goal is building muscle, then things need to change. Can I tell you how to build muscle? In order to build muscle, and we will break this down deeper, but in order to build muscle, you need to focus in on progressive overload, which is a fancy term of just saying making the workout harder. Like there's repetition in the workout where you're just gradually making it harder over X amount of time. You're focusing in on an 8 to 12 rep range. Science has shown us that that is where we ideally need to be in order to create that type of stimulus. So it's not just, lifting for 30 reps in the bar class or pulsating in, a Pilates class where there are 5-pound weights. We need to select weights where you physically can't do more than 12 reps at a time. If you can, the weight is too light. If you are lifting something and you can't make it to 8, the weight's too heavy. We have to be more specific. And when it comes to building muscle, something else we want to understand is that form really matters. I ask people, show me your squat. And I kind of see this like folding forward thing. And I'm just like, we need to build up your quads and your glutes. You're not getting low enough. Why aren't you getting low enough? You're really tight in your hips and your calves. Okay, let's address that. Let's not just avoid it. Let's figure out what is the issue. What is the limiting factor? Let's course correct it so you can get plenty out of this exercise so we can build muscle in this area of the body. And listen, sometimes crazy things happen to people in life and it's like, I'm just never going to be able to do this exercise. And the good news is there's a million ways to cook an egg. But a lot of times there are fixes, and soft tissue work is a fix that comes in a lot of the time, but you just need to take the time to address it. If you are somebody who is looking to build muscle, here's what I'm going to tell you, baseline strategy. And if you want this written out for you, if you follow me on Instagram, send me the word playbook and I will give you this free guide. But you want to focus in on exercises that are going to give you the biggest bang for your buck. Another way you can think of it is exercises where you're going to work some of your bigger muscle groups. You want to focus on things like squats, deadlifts, bent over rows, chest press. You want to aim to do these exercises at a minimum for 3 sets. You'll see some people who are doing them up to 6 sets. You don't necessarily need to do that, especially if you've never taken this approach before, but 3 sets minimum, 8 to 12. Let's say you are focused on doing, 2 days a week of training. You could do your squats, 8 to 12, 3 sets, and then your deadlifts, 8 to 12, 3 sets. That would be a really great starting point for you as you are beginning to build muscle in the lower body region. And you could do the same thing with upper body. Take your bent over row and take your chest press. 8 to 12 reps of one exercise, 3 sets, and then do the second one. Really great starting point. When it comes to building muscle from the strength training standpoint, it's actually very simple. And I think some people might find it kind of boring at times. And that's when we just have to ask ourselves, what matters more? Is it the result of building more muscle because I don't want to gain additional fat during this season of my life? Does that matter more? Or is it more about having an exciting workout that is constantly changing, that is like giving me all of the vibes, but maybe not the results? What matters more? If the goal is building muscle, that is a strategy that has been proven to work. Focusing in on that 8 to 12 rep range, minimum of 3 sets. If you can pick at least 3 exercises, so let's say let's say it's a lower body focus. Let's say you squat, you deadlift, and then maybe you do some type of a lunge variation. Maybe you do a curtsy lunge. Maybe you do a lateral lunge. Maybe you do a Bulgarian split squat, but you focus in on those exercises at least 2 times a week. You are going to be moving yourself in the right direction. And with that, the nutrition piece needs to be in alignment too. The amount of people I talk to in terms of asking, do you know how much you actually eat in a day? Most people don't know. Most people don't track their food. So when I'm in conversation with a woman who is bringing up, I'm in perimenopause, I think I'm menopausal, I'm gaining all this weight, one of my first questions is, okay, do you track your food? Do you know how much you're eating? Most of them say no. So what would be really great is for you to just start tracking, just starting to get an idea of how many calories do you consume in a day. And then we can get more specific, how much carbs, how much are protein, how much are fat. And then we get a clearer picture of the puzzle. Something that is very common is a lot of women have been conditioned to think, I'm going to eat low carb, I'm going to eat high fat, Mediterranean diet. That's the vibe. That's not the vibe if your goal is to build muscle. And again, if you're in this season of life and that is the focus, I need to start building muscle, then you're going to need to change how you're eating. Because building muscle, your body needs enough protein. It's protein and carbs that are going to help to build up the muscle fibers that you are breaking down when you were doing these strength training sessions. Fat is great to help regulate hormones, but in the specific process of repairing and building the muscle back up, protein and carbs are going to be your bread and butter. It's not to say I can't have fat, but you are going to have more carbs, more protein in comparison to that fat value. And it's not uncommon that once you start tracking your food, you actually realize that maybe I've been severely undereating, or maybe I have been unintentionally overeating. And then at that point, it's like, well, no wonder you're gaining weight, or no wonder you tried doing a diet and it just didn't work. If you're eating too little and then you try to slash calories, like it can get weird. If you're unintentionally eating more than you think you are, and you're wondering, what's going on here? This is weird. Like, that is why. I'm 32. I have not gone through menopause. I do not believe I am yet at the point of perimenopause. But what I want to share with you is this message as we get ready to wrap. Muscle is so valuable to you during this time of life. You want to build it as strategically, get as much of it as you possibly can. And the way you go about that is being strategic with how it is you are training and eating the right macronutrient splits to help support that goal. If you want to build muscle, it's not a matter of, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll take this, I'll leave that. There's a strategy to it. And it doesn't need to be complicated. It's lifting to build muscle. It's fueling to build muscle. There's not necessarily, a menopause diet, though I'm sure people are marketing that. And really all it is eating in a way where you are building muscle. I see so many people who are taking advantage of women in this stage of life. I created a supplement recently, a performance recovery chew with the different supplements that I have already been taking for years. And I just wanted something that was more efficient for myself. And in the process, I've been in this group and I see all of these other people creating supplements to sell online. And I see all of the crazy stuff that people are putting together to sell to women because they are so desperate to not be in the discomfort that comes with this season of life. From what I know, from what I've gathered from experts and women who have been in this, having the healthy habits, it's not always going to be enough. Something like HRT is going to serve you in a profound way, but HRT alone, if you don't have those healthy habits set in place, it's not going to be a magic fix. It really does seem like we need to have the combination of both. And for the women who have yet to take the time to build muscle, that is a really great place for you to start. And you can do it with a couple of kettlebells. You can do it just by being a little bit more dialed into what it is you're doing. And if you would like somebody to help you, I would love to be that person. If you want to start training with me live, you can do it in a program that I offer called Kettlebells. We can train up to 3 times a week, focusing in on a progressive training program where things are gradually getting heavier. And in that program, we do have a primary focus on building muscle. So if that's something that you know you need, I can help guide you through that piece of this journey. Go to my Instagram or go to my website here, www.colleenconlin.com. Look under my strength training offers and click on Kettlebells. This is a great place for you to go if you are beginning the journey of building muscle. Thank you for tuning into this episode of the podcast. Make sure to leave us a rating and review, and I hope you listen to the next one. Make sure you follow us so you never miss another one.